It was about 6 months ago that Colin and Clive launched our new mission plan at last year's APCM. At the time, all seemed to be heading in the right direction so far as the pandemic was concerned, didn't it? We were back in church, and we were able to start planning for the future. Little did we know that another national lockdown was coming and that we would all have to retreat behind closed doors once more. But even during a second national lockdown, I'm pleased to be able to report that your PCC and the parish staff team have been anything but idle. Despite only 6 months having elapsed since our last annual meeting, there have been some really substantial successes, and it's my privilege to report on those now. You may recall that, because it was only 6 months ago, I hope you haven't completely forgotten, that our mission plan is grouped around the diocesan themes of live, pray, and serve. For us, in summary, that means we want to live as people who are formed by Jesus and who seek to invite others to become his disciples as well. We pray on our own and together in community to deepen our spiritual lives. And then last but not least, we're called to love and serve everyone we can in this parish and beyond. In following those principles, in our mission plan, approved 6 months ago, we agreed 52 specific actions that we planned to achieve over 5 years. Essentially, that means getting 10 new things done every year for 5 years. All of those tasks are then divided up amongst mission teams. They used to be called committees in the old days, but mission teams sounds so much more vibrant and dynamic, doesn't it? So here we are, our mission teams. We've got a ministry team, a churchyard team, a communication team, a development team, the talent development team, a pastoral team, young people and families team, and a treasury team. Pretty impressive list, isn't it? I'm going to take you on a quick whistle-stop tour of what each of these teams has been working on. Mainly over the last 6 months, but there is a little bit, sort of, as it were, fed in from the previous year. The mission team has been primarily focusing on deepening our worship and our sense of mission. Despite the lockdown, in the past year, we've led something close, we estimate, to 200 acts of worship, either on Facebook or Zoom, including through our fabulous new studio system, which a number of you made substantial and very generous donations to achieve. We've also made the church available to as many people as COVID can safely permit, as a place for personal prayer, for spiritual renewal. And we've used the Corona Chronicle as a medium of communication, as well as a source of regular spiritual insight and challenge. The publication of 2 books in the last year has been another way of encouraging growth in depth. Our fabulous churchyard team, led by Colin Headley and Mike Fluck, have continued caring for the churchyard. Did you know there are over 80 species of native British flora and fauna around this church, in God's acre around this church, and that our churchyard has been registered as a site of interest for nature conservation. Looking to the future, the churchyard team are finalising plans, specifications and costs for increasing access to the churchyard for all, ramps and benches and pathways, so that people visiting our town can come and feel embraced by nature and by the church. Our comms team is led by Colin Carter with Hilary Dedman and Jeff and Marion Porter, and they've continued to provide high quality comms support to the parish. Their monthly information sheet has continued to be a great source of fascinating and interesting stuff about the parish. or interviews with key personnel so that we can get to know each other a bit better. And now it's been welded into the Chronicle on a weekly basis. I'm very grateful to Colin for his continued dedication to keeping our website up to date and relevant, as well as his diligent week-by-week promotion of our service via social media. Our development team, well, that's led by Will over there, who's done an amazing job on limited hours, half furloughed for much of the year, keeping us on the straight and narrow with regard to COVID regulations, as well as all the essential ongoing building maintenance and management issues. Everything from electrical and gas safety to rodent control and practical support to the tenants of our houses in our parish properties. He and his team of paid and volunteer craftsmen have also completed a number of significant pieces of work all around the parish, most visibly the restoration up there of our rose window and the levelling of the West End tomb outside the west door. I've been trying to support the team as much as I can, together with Shelley, by fundraising so that we can continue to push forward with future projects as soon as funds become available. And Will, he wears more than one hat, does our Will. We keep him busy. He's also a member of the Pallant development team, chaired by Colin. And that's a group of people who want to foster long-term change and development of the Pallant Centre. This year they've been focused on finding ways of visually connecting the Pallant Centre to this building, to the church. And they've also been upgrading the hall's electrics and commissioning a new gift aid system to the shop so that when you give something to the shop in the future, we can get the gift aid on however much we sell it for in the end. Pretty impressive stuff, hey? They've also been supporting our newest user groups in the Pallant Centre itself, especially the mental health charity Mind. It's been a real privilege for us to be able to make the Pallant Centre available to Mind and so many other great charities doing great work in our community. Looking to the future, they've been moving steadily forward with plans for extending the centre into the rear courtyard of the Pallant Centre, hopefully with the development of a classroom in partnership with Dynamo. That's slowed down a bit this year. COVID has got in the way of the kind of meetings that we have to get done. But they'll also be giving time this year to thinking about whether we might establish a separate Pallant Centre trust, just to make the running of these buildings a bit more efficient. Next on our list, pastoral team. What can you say about Sandra, eh? Sandra and helped by Julia have been doing a fabulous job, haven't they? They've been supporting people, connecting them, keeping them connected throughout the pandemic. Personal deliveries by our volunteer postmen and women of the Chronicle have been especially appreciated by homes all over the area, as well as their regular telephone calls to some of our more lonely or housebound members. Tea and chat with Sandra on a Monday afternoon is now, it's a fixed date in many people's diaries. And the Mothering Sunday teas, particularly great initiative, I think. Yeah. Through the Rector's discretionary fund, to which many of you have donated, the pastoral team has also been able to carry on supporting homeless and vulnerable people in Havant, especially financial gifts to Two Saints and the Beacon. And there's been specific support for a young couple who were formerly homeless to set up a new life together. Looking to the future, we're going to be looking to work more closely with St Albans, and we're thinking about how we might reach out to care homes, as well as to our children, young people and families. We're nearly there. 2 teams to go. Young people and families. Our work in that respect was somewhat stymied by the pandemic, as you would expect. It was quite hard to get families and youngsters together at the moment, as you'll appreciate, but that hasn't stopped them from being as creative as possible. There have been 2 special editions of Little Seeds at Christmas and at Easter, when we could stop Sandra giggling at the prospect of doing the things that she was doing on the screen. They worked really, really well. They were magnificent. And we did them, at least the Easter one especially, with Karina, Mother Karina, the priest from Westleigh. And it was just really good to work together in that creative way. The team has also been continuing Pray, Bake and Read, our scheme for supporting Bosmere School, and I hope one day soon other schools in the area as well, making homemade cakes that go in at the beginning of term to encourage the staff, as well as assuring them of our prayers for them. Looking to the future, the team is planning on the appointment of an engagement worker, someone who's going to help to maximise use of this building as a place for education and learning about the history of Havant and St Faith's, as well as, of course, information about Christianity, all linked to the national curriculum. Fundraising is now underway for that new post, and I'd really encourage you to think about whether you could support such an initiative. As I said earlier, it takes people to do these jobs to the professional standards that are required today. And people have to be paid. Last but by no means least, the Treasury team, who have been doing an amazing job, much of which I praised when I thanked Shelley earlier, so I won't repeat here. But I do just want to underline how important it's been for us to have a professional finance officer working diligently and accurately for us, and long may that continue. It's a very worthwhile endeavour. That's a summary of the work that's been going on under the direct influence of the mission plan. I hope not too much of it was a surprise to you. I hope you've got a flavour of some of this through the Corona Chronicle, for example. It's pretty hard to communicate all the stuff that goes on in this parish, I have to tell you. Yeah, it keeps me awake at night, I can tell you. Yeah, thinking about it all. But it's magnificent. What a place. What a parish this is for people rolling up their sleeves and getting on with loving one another and serving their neighbour. I count it such a privilege to be among you. But do you know, there's a load of other stuff that's been going on as well. On top of all that, let's not forget the day-to-day work of all of our other teams within the parish. All the things I've listed so far don't include, for example, the ongoing work of our bell ringers or of our flower artists. Great job, Barbara, this week. Barbara Stern, good job. Beautiful, beautiful flowers. It doesn't describe the work of our music team, led by Graham, providing as much music as COVID will allow us. Let's not forget the work of our PA team, who have been learning so many new things as they have become our PA and studio team. I want to pay tribute to Pauline's work, Pauline West, in our parish office, reliably and consistently providing hundreds and hundreds of Corona Chronicles week by week, minutes of standing committees, fielding inquiries from the public about weddings and baptisms and funerals. No, you can't have a wedding, there's a lockdown on. And I suspect my wife will never forgive me if I fail to mention the work of the charity shop. They found themselves locked down more than open this year, but they still raised £11,000 last year. Their energy and their enthusiasm for reusing, reducing and recycling has remained undiminished, and they are all brilliant. So, that's what we've been up to in this last very strange year. To some extent, it's felt a bit like being a duck, you know, serene on the surface, but paddling like Billy-O under the water. And there still remains lots to do. We've got our big project plans ahead of us. I was going to go through them, but I think we've had enough of listening to me. We've got big projects ahead of us, things we want to get done that are going to make this place even more usable. And what I'd finally encourage you to do is go to stfaith.com and read the mission plan for yourself if you haven't already. Think about how you can contribute to this amazing parish and the amazing people who do so many amazing things together in mission. Come and get involved. Join one of the teams. You don't have to sit on the PCC. You could just join one of those teams and add some value, add some joy, add some expertise to the work that's going on. Please pray about that and think about how you might get further involved in our frankly amazing adventure. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you found it helpful. God bless you.